people is just struggling because they expect it to be get rich quick, and it's not. It takes a lot of hard work and it takes a lot of time.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast Chatzzz. And we have a very, very special guest today, a recurring guest.
Yeah.
New episode number 92.
I am.
You was,
Yeah.
you were, and now you're number, not that you're just number, 121.
You sound like my mum.
But for people that don't know, we were just saying that we actually used to work together, didn't we, back in the day?
Yeah.
If you didn't watch the first one, the North Lakes Hotel and Spa, we were working there, weren't we? Grinding.
Some of us work.
Yeah, he just told me he was sleeping on the job. I never used to do that. No, to be
And
fair,
they took my pay now.
I don't know. Hopefully
You're
not.
not getting it back.
No, but to be fair, when I was a night, did you ever do a night porter?
Once instead of James.
Yeah,
That was rough.
I think I slept on that one of them. Yeah,
That was the job, is
Yeah.
make sure everything gets done by 11:30 and then go to sleep.
yeah, literally, and then don't wake up. When I was the duty manager, though, you just slept over, didn't you? And then when the night porters used to wake you up at like 2 a.m, I'd be like, oh, it's fuck.
What for?
I don't know.
Oh,
To be
there's a
fair-
problem here, there's a problem there.
Yeah, to be fair, one time there was like a twin room. I don't know why I'm talking about this anyway. There was like a lady and her mum, an old lady and her mum, and then she fell out of bed, cracked her head on the table, and like a flap of skin was like coming off. This is at like 3 a.m, and I wasn't first aid trained. I don't know if I meant to say that. So like I couldn't do anything, but luckily the night porters are first aid trained, because I was saying to her like, oh, just get some water or something or whatever, and they were like, no, you don't want to do that. So then ambulance came and everything. I was like, that's
Is ambulances in Penrith?
I don't know.
There's a little, there is a little hospital. Didn't think it'd have
But I was like, what am I going to do? Like a 21, 22-year-old boy with this situation, you know, deal with it. But anyway.
Got dealt with.
We were saying we've got a lot to catch up on in the last year, haven't we? So
Yeah.
what did I say we spoke about last time? Can you remember?
So I spoke about my story, how I got into property, stuff I needed to develop, and there was one other thing, but I forgot now.
Yeah, lessons you've learned, building teams and all that kind of stuff, isn't it? Yeah.
I learned a lot more since then.
Wait, let's see. I've got it here, right? So ChatGPT is a great thing. So we said last time we spoke about, so if you want to watch the first one, so Ricardo's journey into property, his upbringing and education, his work in life and building a team, his strengths, weaknesses and regrets, and then investment and expansion plans. So, yeah. What's new?
Oh, where do we start? So we were here, it would have been 15 months ago.
Yeah, about
I
so, yeah.
over at your house.
Yeah. Moving house, actually.
Why?
It's too small.
Off market deal?
Yeah. It actually was as well.
Where are you moving to?
Literally opposite, but a top floor and bigger.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I quite like that area though.
It is nice because it's like, Denton can be a bit rough, but like that's not rough at all. It's like posh for Denton.
Like when you're in there, it doesn't feel like you're there.
No, I was in a guy's house on Wood Street in Botch, like rough area. Oh my God, it literally feels like you're in the countryside. He's got to drive up to his house and his house is huge. And it just feels like you're in the countryside in like a manor.
Yeah,
And it's like, how the hell am I in Carlisle? In the roughest area of Carlisle.
where's that in Botchgate then?
Do you know Wood Street? Do you know where Kieran Fitton used to have one of his hairdressers? And then there's that street right down past the shop.
Yeah.
So that street there, like pure nice houses.
I never would have expected that. But yeah, that's the thing about Carlisle. It's hard to get. I quite like apartments.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to get a nice. It's either there or Shadowgate, I think.
Yeah.
You lived at Shadowgate, haven't you?
No, I lived Shadowgate, the houses,
Oh,
not,
right, the houses.
not the complex.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's that, and then the one Simon's doing on Portland Square.
Yeah. They're
They're
fucking
like
spending.
400k.
Yeah, I know. Don't really spending that.
So not
Too
good
far.
for Carlisle.
Mm.
There's also a block on Warwick Road just selling now. That's selling for 750. But
I don't
the
know
guy-
of that.
the Cavendish dude,
No, there's someone else who's got one of there. Actually, it's
Which
just
one?
on a price, I think.
Oh.
I don't know. I can't remember what he said. But he said on the Warwick Road, yeah.
is
Similar
it
price?
78? No, 80.
Fuck knows. I can't remember.
Don't tell people this on market.
Yeah, true. But yeah, what's new? What's new? Sorry.
So yeah, in the last 15 months, I've gone through a lot of stuff, a lot of lessons, and burnt a lot of money.
Mm.
We've also created 2 new businesses SDH, which is just part of the Airbnb business, which I had, but for taxes and to make stuff simple, I've made that its own business aside from my own. So Scenic Downtown Hideaways, I'm going to be expanding that into the Lake District over this summer. Because actually in the Lake District, the Airbnbs are busier in winter than they are in the summer, which baffles me.
Really?
Statistically speaking, you'll have closer to 100% occupancy in winter than you will in summer.
That's crazy.
As people cancel more summer holidays to go abroad than they would winter holidays, because the winter holidays are more in the UK.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Apparently so.
I never would have thought that, to be fair.
Yeah, I find that crazy.
Yeah, it's so expensive though.
So you're going to be... Aye, but I'm renting them.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll rent a house for like $2,500, but if I can make a nightly rate of £300, I only need 10 nights to break even.
Yeah. And there's people from London coming up, isn't it? Like a breakaway.
Yeah, to them, £300's like, oh, that's cheap.
Yeah.
To me, £300, I'm like, that's a week's wages.
Literally. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that'll be exciting then, won't it?
So yeah, that's worrying because obviously every time you go into something new, you're like, oh, what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't work? But I've done this for long enough to know that what if it doesn't work? When it does work, you're going to be really, really happy. So I know long term it's the right thing to do, and I want to expand out of here. As I said last time I was on the pod, I wanted to go to Newcastle, Manchester. They're still on the cards, but not quite happened yet. Now, after a year of trials and tribulations, let's say, I've got a team that I'm happy to leave here. So once I leave, I know they'll take care of my tenants, they'll take care of my properties, and they'll also keep bringing me deals if I need to. So I know next month is when me and Holly, we're going to be going around the country looking for new areas. I already have investors wanting stuff in Manchester and Newcastle, but I want to find another gold mine like Carlisle. Carlisle, I've been able to make my own and grab by the scruff of the neck. And over the next few years, a few of the big projects we're doing are going to make a real impact in the area, I'm hoping. And I want to do that in another around 100,000 capacity area. So I want to look for one of those. But I don't know where I'll find it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be looking.
You'd already have it, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, is the North East a good place? Or not?
So, in Blythe, for example, which is northeast, like right up at the top, there's a £10 billion development into some offshore stuff. But then, when I went to Blythe, it's actually really nice. I thought everyone had told me shithole, 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 shithole. But it's so nice. Like, I showed you a video, my Instagram video of my dad, and when he was doing the gun thing, I was in Blythe.
Oh, was it?
It's like, you wouldn't expect anything, but apparently that's where they used to shoot the people coming from Netherlands or something.
Yeah, okay, interesting.
So it's got loads of history. It's actually just a nice little town, similar to Carlisle, I think. And they're putting £10 billion into a development just above it. So that's an area I could potentially look into. Mm-hmm. But then there is very rough areas because it was just a mining town that had been abandoned, and then people slowly go back into it. Yeah. Like your Darlingtons apparently, and somewhere else near Blythe and those areas in North East. But North East is probably undervalued compared to the rest of the country. So it could be an area we go to. But again, I want to do some proper due diligence and actually be comfortable with the place, because obviously I've done my due diligence in Carlisle. I've been here for 20 years. Yeah. So I've worked my way into knowing all of the nooks and crannies, I'd hope, about it. But yeah, that's what I want to do next.
Yeah. What would you go and look for then specifically, would you say? When you and Holly go around, what are you going to look for? Or a few things that you look for?
So for example, in Carlisle, because that's what I'm basing it off, is like, if I know it works in Carlisle, I can't see a world where it wouldn't work somewhere else. So number one, I do numbers. So it has to have X amount of population. I've already made a calculator of every single area in Carlisle, not area in England, so any town or any city or any area of over 20,000 people. I asked ChatGPT and it gave me them all. And then I got all the statistics from the government websites for HMOs in each area. So now I've done a formula. So it tells me which areas are needed most. There's a place in South Wales. Not going to Wales. But there's a place in South Wales that is top of the 366 places in the UK. And Carlisle is actually only 100. So I know there's 100 places that need more HMOs than Carlisle. So I'm going to look at all those 100 and look at those areas and see what area suits me. But what I look for is, like Carlisle, it has to have history. Like every time I've brought any investors here, they're like, I fucking love this. There's cobbled roads, there's a castle, there's this. It looks like
Cathedral.
there's modern stuff, but there's like very classic stuff. And obviously we're on the frontier of a lot of history. And you just forget about it on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's like, if I said, for example, my family from Portugal, I went, oh yeah, I'm in the city, and I actually just described Carlisle as it is. There's a castle, there's this, they used to fight, there's this, then you've got a massive walk that's really famous. They're like, wow, that's amazing. But then,
Actually, yeah, it does sound actually more impressive than I think.
you don't say that, and you don't think about it day in, day out, because you're just like, yeah, look, there's Pongo on the street shaking a pie.
Yeah, you just think of Portugal, don't you, really?
Yeah.
Like a Saturday night or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does actually sound a lot better then.
It is, and honestly, you go down south, go look at other cities not the big cities, go look at other smaller cities. You still see there's a lot more character in Carlisle than there is in a lot of places, which baffles me because I've lived here, so I thought, it probably doesn't have anything, but you never actually see what's quite in front of you.
No, because you're just used to it, aren't you?
Yeah, it's just
Climatized to the situations.
because it's just like you're more involved in your brain and in your life than you are in looking at your surroundings. Like, we're actually somewhere nice.
Yeah, okay. So
I want somewhere nice.
somewhere nice.
To add to the
historic.
Take
the investors.
Yeah, it has to have something that
Bit of character.
a bit of character, yeah. But then it does have to have. One thing I've also added to my thing is the aging population. Carlisle, that's the one problem, is it has a fairly aging population. I don't see many kids being brought here, which makes me happy to say about the new uni with 4,000 new students. Yeah. That will be really, really beneficial for Carlisle, because I see they're building 18,000 homes around it, and you've seen those ring roads that they're building around Carlisle.
Yeah.
They're doing 18,000 homes around that as well, which is good, but young people like to live in the city centre, and you'll know it yourself in the last 10 years. Oh my God, nightlives have got so bad. And I know that is statistically happening around this country too, but Carlisle feels like it's just hit a cliff.
Yeah, it is dead. Even I went out on Saturday with my friends, I hadn't seen in
How
ages.
you feeling?
Yeah. And
It's awful, isn't it?
yeah, I went out for food and then went out for a few drinks, and I think, there's nobody out, is there? And
No.
it's like meant to be summer, and it was quite nice and sunny and stuff, and you just think, when we were back in the day, it was
I know.
fucking
Yeah.
crazy.
Like, you wouldn't be able to get in anywhere good for at least half an hour.
Yeah, you'd have to queue
Now-
up, get your stamps or whatever.
Now you'd get your stamp and you go back to the pub that was cheaper.
Then when you're already absolutely off your face, you'd go back to there at like 12 or something, wouldn't you? Yeah.
And you get knocked back. I just paid my stamp.
Those are the days.
But yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Something with character. Ideally not too of an aging population. And obviously it's properties. Everybody wants the cheapest stuff. So I want something that is somewhat undervalued compared to the area. For example, Carlisle is the highest thing in the area because we're the capital Cumbria. So it should be the highest prices. But Workington, Whitehaven, Barrow, they're similar prices to some terraced houses in Carlisle. So to me, you're the capital of the biggest area in the country by square footage. The biggest postcode, sorry, by square footage. And we're the same price as everything else. That doesn't make any sense. So that to me tells you that Carlisle is actually slightly undervalued compared to the rest of Cumbria. Additionally, we're in the best place for Edinburgh, Glasgow, and Newcastle, Liverpool, and Manchester. We're in the middle of those, and all the rails and public services are just going to get better and better and better, and it's going to be so much easier to travel between those. So, for us, as you'll have known from North Lakes as well, we're a direct path between Manchester and Edinburgh, some of the biggest trade routes in the country. So a lot of businesses stop in Penrith, stop in Carlisle on the way for a night or something like that, or London as well, up to Scotland or down south. So we're in a really, really good location. Stuff like that I also need to be aware of. Like cities around Manchester in the last 5 years have all gone up because of HS2.
Yeah.
So looking at big developments, hence why I mentioned Blythe earlier, £10 billion. That's fucking huge. That's not big, that's
I can't even
huge.
imagine how much money that is, yeah.
Yeah, how many zeros? And stuff like that is what I need to try pick out and see, right, okay, well, if people know that's in Blythe, I don't want to go to Blythe. I want to go, what's 20 miles away from Blythe? I saw a clip on some guy. He was, what was it? Some American guy. And he went, oh, I can tell you what my investing strategy is, but we've got an hour's long, so can you ask me more questions? Because it's going to take about 2 minutes. And he was like, right, so you see that city, what I do is I drive 20 miles out of it, and I buy every single house in a 1 mile radius. And then I just wait for 20 years till the city grows out of it and those houses are worth millions.
That's a good thing, actually. That's funny, yeah.
So I want to
Do that.
slightly implement his, but with big projects that are happening. So if a £10 billion project's happening, okay, 20 miles isn't a lot to drive for work, which a lot of those people would. I've heard, well, that's already started. People that work in that thing and they're doing that development, they're sleeping in the house, in the cars, because they don't have enough accommodation in that area.
Really?
So
That's fucking crazy.
hopefully people don't go attack live off of this.
Yeah, getting true. I thought you weren't going to mention the place, but yeah.
Yeah, well.
Because even my dad, when he was working, he would travel from Brampton to Spatria to work. So how far is that?
See, but yeah, that'll be 25, 30 miles.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, even if a bit
Because
longer.
Carlisle's 20 mile to Appalachia.
Yeah, and it's like 10 miles to Brampton from
Yeah,
Carlisle. So probably
yeah.
got 30 plus. Yeah,
And it's the worst of things because you have to kind of go around-ish Carlisle. And
yeah, it's not a good route.
oh, the top road from Brampton to Carlisle, they've bloody put, man,
Yeah, I know.
awful.
but, yeah,
That was the road you could get to legal speed limit of 100 on
yeah.
in the past.
Apparently, I've been caught speeding up there a couple of times.
Have you?
Yeah.
With these cameras?
No, not with the cameras. No, before that with the
At
vans.
police?
Yeah,
Oh.
with the vans. Yeah, I'm not very good with my speeding, but I have
Did they
only got
give-
6 points now, which is good.
How many do I've got 8, so I trump you.
8? How'd you get 8 then?
I've lost a lot as well. I've lost 9 in the past.
Yeah, I just lost 3.
I just
How many
gained
speed
5.
around?
I was driving to Newcastle for Micah's birthday. It was
5? You must be going fucking
I was
rapid.
apparently going 86 in a 60, but I thought it was a 70 clearly.
Oh,
Because I was like,
there is 70s along there.
yeah, because it was literally what they said in court. Was like, you're literally about half a mile away from the 70. I was like, right, okay. Well, I wouldn't have even been noticing. I was just been driving. Yeah, and it was also at 11:30 at night because she's like, I could actually take your license off you, but there's nobody else on the road and it's just a speed camera that's caught you. So and she went, you're not unlucky because you're alive, but you are unlucky because it caught you.
Yeah, literally. It's the amount of time people are like flying down the motorways at like 100 plus and they don't get caught. It's crazy.
But with that, I've got an electric car, so I always drive at normally 60 mile per hour because it's the most efficient. But we must have been going somewhere.
Yeah, in a rush or something. Yeah. What's an electric car like?
Mint, get one.
Yeah. But I just
Wait, what? No, don't get one. Oh wait, do you have anywhere to plug yours? You won't.
no, and as well.
If you have one to plug it in at home, get it. If you don't, the public charge is the same as petrol, so it's kind of pointless. But they do drive themselves.
Yeah. But if you do long distance driving, how far can you get?
Completely fine.
How far? Can
I
you
drove to London one time and I only stopped for 5 minutes.
That's quite good actually. Yeah, because
I'll stop more because I need to pee. More than the car needs to drink.
That's my only thing. That I just don't think the range would be good. Because when we went to Marbella in April, I got a Tesla. So I was like, I always want to drive a Tesla. So cool. And yeah, just the public charge is awful. Unless you get a supercharger, it's so slow. I did like 2 hours and it charged like 10%. But the Tesla,
2 hours.
yeah, but the Tesla fast charge is like half an hour for half a charge, or like an hour for a full charge or something. But
Which Tesla were you in? This should be faster than that. I thought it was like 15 minutes.
I don't know. Maybe I'm under.
My car, if I go from about 10% to 80% in 30, 40 minutes,
That's like quick.
which 80% gives me 240 miles. I get 300 miles out of a charge. Traffic's all right. Like, where else are you going to go in a day that's more than 300 miles?
Yeah, you know.
Like, solemnly do you do that? Like, if you're going to London, but if you're going to London, how many times would you stop in a petrol car? At least twice in a 5-hour journey.
Yeah, once or
And
twice, yeah.
that's what, 20 minutes each time?
Who's the toilet, whatever.
So if you go 15 minutes, you charge your car, it's on a fast charger, because on the motorway, they're all fast. Most cars now on a fast charger, 15 minutes worth of charge, you'll get at least 20, 30%. And 20% is normally 60 miles on these types of cars. 30% is 90 miles. So you add another 180 miles twice overall. And then your range is going up to 480. It's like 350 miles, 400 miles.
Yeah, 350.
350. So then you've got even 100 miles to doss about in London with.
Yeah.
So I find it all right.
Yeah.
But I was looking, who was that speaking to? Speaking to one of my clients, so they're coming to London, they're coming to Carlisle, and they're like, how can I get here quicker? I was like, have you got a private jet? They're like, no. I was like, well, then it's either a train or a car. I was like, train's about the quickest you get, and you get here in 3 hours.
Yeah, because I think trains are so unreliable these days. Though.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get cancelled all the
It's
time.
just scary because it's like, I like to go travel to country more, but I hate driving, and it's like but then public transport will mean you don't have to drive, and you can also do a bit more work. But then it's like, what if I don't get there?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and then I miss an important appointment. It's like, well, that's just money lost. So you don't want to risk it, so you have to drive.
Yeah, which is fucking a ball ache. But yeah. So what else? So you recently launched another business, haven't you?
Bedrooms, lettings. Yeah, so we launched that in January. Didn't have any tenants until March, till we had the houses that I wanted to do ready for it. And we've got 54 rooms available right now, and 51 of those are let.
Seen that on your notes?
Yep. We've done all that in
That's good.
just shy of 4 months now. So it's been from start of March till now. It's scary having tenants because I'm responsible for people now.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
It is a lot of people. My sister does most of that, and she runs that pretty well. She's now got a proven and tested system of vetting out the idiots.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people apply. I've had one person in the spare room. She messages every single property we've got up, just the same template message. And then I've rang her a few times and like, right. And she's like, oh yeah, I just send that to everybody. And like, but why? She's like, oh, I'm just looking for a room. I was like, do you want to come view it? No. I don't think she's all there.
What? So she keeps on messaging for a room, but she doesn't want to view any rooms?
I could literally show you the message. It's like a paragraph.
Some people are just weird, aren't they?
It's just, and I'm like, every single house she does it. And I'm like, I hope I'm not the only one because I feel singled out if I would.
Yeah, picked you out specifically.
But yeah, doing tenants is tough. It's not for the faint-hearted, but it just came out of the business in terms of the deal sourcing and stuff. That was just getting too big, and I was selling too many deals, and I can't have all the houses be Airbnbs. Otherwise, there's not going to be any houses for anybody left in Carlisle. We're selling that many. But yeah, it's not something I ever wanted to do, but it's going all right. And well, 51 out of 54. And with that, we make about £100 per room profit. So you're making £5,000 out of just a little side business.
Yeah.
Every month, it covers wages, does everything you needed to do. So, but people have told me in the past, lettings doesn't make you money. And I was like, you're probably doing it wrong. And I feel like I'm doing it right. It doesn't make you as much money. Like, you have 50 people to take care of, and I'm only making £5,000, which is a good amount of money for everybody. But 50 people is a lot of people to be responsible for.
It's a lot, especially when things go wrong, isn't it? If
Oh,
it's
yeah.
easy, then it's
Like the other day, we had a flood.
No way.
We've had a flood. I've had a tenant be too tall for the shower, so he hit the top. Metro rod, so I've had to call out the plumbers to actually unblock like actual full drainage systems, and they were adamant they didn't put anything in it. And this, I don't know if it was the refurb, because I trust my builders and I don't really trust this specific one tenant, but I was told that there was nothing in the drain and there was so much shit in the drain, and I'm like, you've been here for 2 weeks, that's physically impossible.
Yeah,
So I had those guys out twice. I just fixed the roof on Saturday.
yourself?
Well, it was a partial fix. There's some holes in the roof in the house we just don't know because the wind just blew the tiles out. So I've just been fixing that on Saturday. That was the latest problem. If my sister was here, we'd actually be here for about 2 hours. And I'm not joking, she'd just be rattling off.
They're the ones that
She's
she
got
tells you about.
Fat list. No, that was the one. They were the ones I specifically know about. But she always goes, "Oh, do you need me to tell you?" I was like, "Please don't, just fix. Write it down, and one day I'll have a look over it when I don't feel like I'm going to be sick about it off." But it's just people equal problems.
Definitely.
But if I didn't have that, it would be harder to sell more deals. And selling deals brings us a lot of profit, because most of that is you spend X amount of time a week, let's say, and you make a good commission. But you can only do that with knowledge. And today I was actually just going to a property in Carlisle, and I got this viewing based on the fact that I've actually got knowledge of what I'm doing, and I've bought houses with this estate agent. But there was another deal sourcer that went in for the property and pulled out last minute for no reason whatsoever. And the estate agent got really pissed off, and when I rang and said, "Oh, this is what I do, blah, blah, blah," They were, oh, we're not dealing with deal sources anymore. This property was let down by Ring. And I was like, right, can I speak to the person that I spoke to before? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, it's Ricardo. And he's like, oh, yeah, definitely you can go have a look at it. So now Jordan's just over there ringing them, and we're going to secure that property for an investor. And that's just because we've got the relationship and I actually know what I'm talking about. So if I go and look at a house and I've got a pricing matrix for my refurbs, I can just go, it's going to be this, or this, put that on my sheet, go to my investor, here, this is it. And I've got 13 projects live and about 20, 30 projects that we delivered last 2 years. So the investors can actually go, oh yeah, he's got all this, he's doing all this. That's right.
Yeah, I believe you. Yeah.
And also that keeps more relationships with the agents and hopefully brings them a little bit more faith back into the industry, because everybody goes online and thinks it's easy, and then you actually do it and people are just struggling because they expect it to be get rich quick. And it's not. It takes a lot of hard work and it takes a lot of time, because really and truly, if I was to minimize my business, it wouldn't be rich. It would just be, you're making good money, but it's not like rich. Yeah. Whereas I want to have £1 million in the bank tomorrow by selling a deal. You're not. You're going to get £4,000, £5,000, £6,000 if you're good. Whereas that's what most deal sources get. I sell a deal, I make 20 grand normally, because I can give my investors all the money out or over X amount of yield. Whereas most deal sources will just go in, get the 3K fee. I've not done the due diligence. They've not actually done the figures, and they always go, oh, well, it's on the investor's side to do it. But okay, it is on the investor to do their own research into stuff. But like, what the fuck are you doing? You're just giving them a potential house. Like, what is that like? That's not a service.
There's no value there, is it really?
Like, at all. You need to go, well, this is the value because this house, you could do this, this, and this, because that's the value in our services. I can tell you something you wouldn't be able to go have a look at. Like, for example, we bought a house on Agaby Street and turned that into a 9-bed HMO. We were buying 2 of them. One of them failed because of planning, but the one we developed was absolute, like, it was a shit tip. Like, gone. And then the other one that we're buying them both for 190k. The other one that we're buying, the house was perfect. Like, it looked like the house is on Portland Square. It looked top tier. And we bought them both for 190, but the other one had a cellar, so it had more size to it. That's why it was still worth the same amount of money. Whereas most deal sources are like, well, I'm not buying the one for 190, I'm buying the one that's nearly finished, because they don't actually understand the value in, well, you can create this and add this value. So we ended up getting that house done up, cost about 240k to do it up, to 9 bedrooms, got attic, got a cellar, done all that out, and now it got revalued at 650k.
Okay,
so what you're putting in about, with fees and stuff, about 480k, and you get 650 out, 170k profit. But that deal went really wrong. So that original refurb was meant to be 140k. Builders got the 140k. We had contracts and stuff, but they fucked us over still. Well, they didn't fuck us over, they just spent it all, but they had priced it wrong really from the start. And when we added stuff on because of the building regulations, because of all those new building regulations, and it just overlapped. So not to risk anything, we had to have extra stuff in. And when they were repricing it, they really, really priced it wrong by about 40, 50k. So it should have been like a 200k refurb, but because of a few things, it went over. So at the point that they had the 140k, like the plastering wasn't even done yet.
No.
So we still had a big chunk of it. So that's why we went over budget. But luckily the investor had the money there, which was good. And then we'd spent the 60 extra k that we should have. And I was like, right, we're going to get a 500k valuation, which was what it was meant to be, but we spent X amount, so you're not going to get all your money back. Do we just want to go balls to the walls, make it a really high spec and try and get an extra valuation? And me and the investor were like, we have to. It's our first good project that we're doing, like a big solid project. Let's just do it. So went balls to the walls, and it got valued at 650 instead of 500k, because it had been preliminary valued at 500k from our valuer. And he was happy with it, and we were, when it was going to be 140k refurb and it was going to be like 330 all in. You're like, still 170k profit. So, and then it wasn't, so we had to push it up. So we pushed it up and we got the end value in the end. And that's just purely because I added the value. Even in the refurb, I could have added the value to the investor, whereas most deal sources are just going, well, you're either going to have to bite the bullet or go and sue the builders. But it's like, what do you gain out of that? Because you're going to waste your time, you're going to waste your effort, and you're going to be salty and never invest again. Whereas if you've got people in your network, like me, for example, that can add the value there, that has made a deal that was amazing, went stinky, and you brought it back to amazing, like, that's really good type of people to have. And I'm happy I've had the investors and the connections that can also work with me on there and didn't lose faith in me, because in all fairness, if it was your money and you'd got fucked over for 90 grand, you might not want to work with the people, any people involved.
Yeah, you can see that if they did, didn't you?
Yeah, so I'm somewhat thankful. And with that investor and other investors, I'm happy to say we've brought in over £15 million development into Carlisle.
It's a lot of money, yeah.
And we're going to have over 100 rooms by the end of the year. Mm-hmm. So 50 more tenants.
But it's like you're saying, though, I feel like I'm not in property, but I see it. And people just seem to like pop up, have an Instagram page, say they're doing it. And then it's like, yeah, okay. But like, where's your experience? Like your track record, what you're doing now, and what value do you provide? Because anybody can say they're doing anything, can't they? Anyone can say, I don't know, a marketing person, a property person. But it's like you're saying that what's the extra added value of the experience or real time or previous that you can give to your clients or customers and that kind of thing that money can't buy, can it? So you say money can't buy that. Like say if somebody was just setting up, they would have said, oh, well, I fucked it here. It's going to get valued 500k, so let's have to take it on the chin. Whereas at least he said, all right, well, we can do this, this and this. These are your options. We could either take a loss or try and
risk it for a chocolate biscuit.
Exactly that. You've got a few chocolate biscuits for that. So yeah, it's just
Twix. That's fine.
But it's interesting because I don't know what you see, but everyone just seems to want to be doing property now because they think it's like the sexy thing to do.
It is, and it's
HMOs are the sexy thing, I think, now, are they?
I hope so.
Yeah. Everyone seems to want to do
HMOs and service accommodation.
SAs, yeah, that's it, yeah. That was at the networking event. That's what everyone was talking about. SAs and HMOs, yeah.
Yeah, it's strange because...
Why do you think that is? Why do you think people want to get it? Just because they think there's loads of money in it or what?
Well, you've heard of Samuel Leeds, you know?
Samuel, no?
He's a property trainer. Him... And just one thing I would say about property trainers, I don't think they're bad. They have a value for a certain amount of people, but they only have a value if you take action. So people say they're scammers, but they're not scammers. If you're not willing to learn yourself and take your time, because everything they've taught, I will have learned on the internet for free. Mm-hmm. But then I've spent, let's say, 4 months worth of my time to learn that way. They put it in all together for you, so then you also have it to track back.
Yeah, they package it all, don't they, up and give it
I don't have any of my knowledge to track back, but I've got it as knowledge. So to me, the way I learn and the way I am as a person, I needed to do that. I couldn't, I would pay 12 grand for their courses and go, all of these cunts are scammers. But they're not. Like I've said, when I'm in a position where I just have 12, 13, 14 grand just to burn, I will pay for them for networks. Because it's good networks to be in. That's the type of people that want to invest and people I'll be able to do joint ventures with. But to me, that's where I would see their value. But to other people, where they would see the value is, well, 4 months is a long time to waste. Like that. Like when I say 4 months, I mean like 4 months of 70 hours a week learning that. Whereas who has that time? I do it because of lockdown, but who has that time? Nobody in the real world has that time.
It's a time of energy as well, isn't it?
And to have the mental capacity to actually just be in that space for that amount of time as well. You don't have it, so I could see a value in it for a certain amount of people, but the people who then go pay or hear it and go, well, what do you gain out of that? Well, you gain a network most likely, and you'll also gain the skills or the knowledge of how to do it. But most people that think it's a scam are the type of people that aren't going to go implement anything.
No.
So it's like, well... People say scams, it's not. It's just, if you implement it, you implement it. Like, I've got some of my builders that went to their 3-day course and was like, you should have just came to me. I would have told you everything in a day.
Yeah.
But they're like, well, I'm happy I was in the environment. I was like, fair enough.
Everyone's different, aren't they? Because when I was first starting out the marketing, I paid for a couple of courses, which was great for me to set up the systems and processes for me to go out and do it. But it's just, a lot of people will buy the course and expect businesses come to them. But
Yeah.
you still have to go out and put yourself out there.
And that's
get
the hard
experience.
thing is
Yeah, that is the hard thing. It's easy to buy a course.
resilience.
Yeah.
Because
Rejection.
yeah, buying the course is the easy thing, and learning is also somewhat the easiest thing. But it's the day-to-day mundaneness of, okay, well, I have to speak to absolute strangers and potentially be rejected. And what is hard in business, you'll probably say the same, is it's your face. So if you're getting rejected, you're not getting rejected for somebody else. Like Norflakes, we weren't getting, if we're trying to upsell it on a wine, it's not me getting rejected, it's just the wine that this company's selling.
Yeah.
But if a client goes, oh no, I don't want to work with you, or I don't believe, for me, if I don't believe in your deal, I'm like, you're rejecting
You
me.
personally.
Like, my maths. No.
No, I've got it. Like, I sent a proposal off yesterday and one off this morning, 2 off this morning, and I really want the deals and like the clients and stuff because I really like them. I'm like, oh, if I don't get these, I'm going to be like really upset. But it's nothing personal, is it? It's just
No.
if they want to pay that price or they think that service is valuable to their business, it's not like I'm a bad person or anything. It's just that it's just not right for them, isn't it? But that is the hard bit, though, isn't it? Especially when it's your own thing.
Yeah.
Like, you do take things personally when it definitely isn't that personal, is it?
No, and one thing with business I've learned is everyone's always going to ask for a discount and everyone's always going to say no at least once.
Yeah.
So I, like these trainers say, you look for a no first. So you always say either absurd stuff or give them a reason to say no or explain to them how a no is good. And then you just feel a bit more comfortable. I used to do sales, as you know, in DFS, and I used to do sales on the street, which is even harder.
Yeah.
But there you just have to think, it's like, well, they're not going to say no to, they're not saying no to me. They're just saying no because it's not for them. And you have to learn in yourself to be respectful of, well, that's their opinion, that's their thoughts. That's it.
Yeah.
Because everyone's different. Like, I know my value, but I clearly haven't explained to them clearly enough what my value is, or it might not be suitable to them. I used to love it in DFS where I used to find customers. I'm like, I can't actually sell you a sofa because it won't work for you. Like all the women, I'm not giving them like something soft that they have to plump up because I'm not going to be the one that breaks their backs.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can't sell you this. I'm sorry. If you want somebody to sell you this, here's the dodgy person.
I'll tell you what, sofas, I got one and it was one you have to plump, and I definitely haven't plumped it, and it's fucked now. But I had it like a year.
Did you get fiber sofa? Is that what it would
I
be?
don't know what I got.
So this is like foam that you're sat on, like fiber. It's like what you're getting pillows, basically.
This is the good stuff.
Well, yeah, but I'm not happy with it.
No.
It's bad because all me and Holly do is we just lie down and it's just pure bad feedback. But I don't think that's nothing to do with the sofa. It's really on me and Holly.
Yeah. Because the thing is, I sleep on my sofa and it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
To say,
That's what I told her we had to do to break it in.
because it's even bad to say, if Claudia ever goes home and then I'll sleep on the sofa by himself. But like if we're together, we'll sleep in the bed. But then if I sleep on, like last night I slept on the sofa because I was like, oh, this is so comfy. I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm a fucking loser. Just go to bed.
I'm an adult at this point.
I'm like,
Did you sleep on the sofa as a kid?
No, never.
I used to.
Never. I don't know what it is. It's
My mum hated it. She'd go to sleep, I'd go to sleep, then I'd wake up in the middle of the night. I'd go downstairs, watch TV for about 5 minutes to fall asleep, and then she'd just get up when it's time to go to school. She's like, Junior, get up, shouting up the stairs, and then I come behind and go, boo.
That's funny. So yeah, back to the property, the sofas,
Houses.
yeah. So yeah, why do you think people are then just popping up and want to do property then?
It's the internet. It's the internet. I think it's people making it look easy. More people are doing it. And it's, I don't know, in my head, it's probably the only way that you can actually make a living in terms of from the zero point of entry is rent to rent and stuff like that, putting houses on Airbnb through businesses. That's the easiest way that people with no money can do it.
So like renting off somebody who owns it and then putting it on Airbnb.
Yeah, and I think because it's a tangible asset, obviously rent to rent, you don't own it, but to people it's a house, it's people are always going to need it. It's easier to go than because doing stuff like drop shipping or like services industry, it's a lot more work involved. Like, you definitely do a lot more than I would if I'm setting up a house.
Yeah.
Because I just set it up, put it on Airbnb, and boom. Whereas you have to constantly do it. Whereas what I see as the attraction is it's one and done somewhat.
Yeah.
Like, it is still a job.
It's a setup.
It is a one and done. It's like, then you'll get recurring.
Yeah.
I think that is sexy to people. Like, oh yeah, that's
Do it easy. Don't think about it. Yeah, it's done.
But it really isn't. Like, I've hired somebody full time to run my Airbnbs. I hire somebody full time to run my tenants. So it's not. It is a full time job, especially if you're doing it to a scale where you don't have to work. Where that's what everyone wants to do. I assume they want to become financially free, as they say it. But financially free is different to everybody. Like, I was financially free at the age of 22 with 2 Airbnbs that were making me $6,000, which is good. Like, most people don't even make $3,000 a month. So, but my financial free figure now is become a billionaire because I want to make the rest of my family financially free. So it's like everyone's figures differently. So if people actually wanted to, say, example, do marketing, how many clients do you think they would need to become financially free?
Right, yeah, it just depends. Like, I think for me, when I was maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, maybe I had like a few clients making like, say, a few grand a month. And you think, I've got no stress, no pressure, making enough money, I can travel about, whatever. And now we've got like, I don't know, like 14 or something, and a couple of visitors. And I think, I'm making good money here. It's a lot of stress though, a lot of pressure, a lot of work. So yeah, but if someone wants to do it, it depends. I see other social media people setting up in Carlisle. And I was speaking to another marketing agency the other day. They've got really good business. And they're saying, yeah, more people are popping up doing videos and charging like, I don't know, 150 quid for like 5 videos. And you think, how are you making money from that? It's crazy. Because I would say, if we're charging someone, I don't know, 1,500 quid a month for X amount of videos, X amount of social media, then that's like a good service because we're managing social media. So we're coming up with the ideas, we're shooting the content, we're editing the content, we're posting it, reporting on it. So that's like a whole package. Whereas these people are just going with the phones, going into business, a few clips, put it together on like CapCut or whatever, which is nothing wrong with CapCut, and then giving it to them. And you think, businesses think that's good, but they don't. They just think it's cheap.
Yeah. Do you think that service is something for businesses, or like the cheaper service? Do you think that works for businesses, or do you think?
I think it works for them, but I don't know how you'd make money though. But that's what I mean, financially free.
Oh, you mean for the marketer?
Yeah. So say if I had 10 clients paying me £200 a month and I earned £2,000 a month, whatever, then £2,000 a month for some people might be enough.
Yeah,
but it's definitely not enough for me.
Yeah.
Because I've got videographer, I've got editor, I've got assistant, I've got website guy, I've got myself, I've got Claudia. There's like 6 people. So if I'm making 200 quid and 10 clients for £2,000 to pay 6 people, I'm gonna have to have a lot of clients. And like you're saying there, I'd rather have less clients and pay me more and give a better service than have lower ticket and high volume, because people are demanding, people have problems, people have needs. So yeah, I think for me, I'm happy with the amount of clients I've got.
I agree. In terms of my clients, I've got one main client that buys pretty much half of Carlisle. And then,
that's what you want, isn't it?
Yeah.
But he goes, you're fucked.
It's a she.
Oh, she, sorry. Fair play.
Feminism.
Yeah, female empowerment, sure. Go for it.
And then I've got about 6 other clients, and one of them is now becoming a bigger shark as well. They're going to invest £5 million into Cumbria.
Yeah.
Obviously, as I said, we've got £15 million already invested over the last 2-3 years, which I think is really good for Carlisle. But to have another £5 million on as well, and other clients.
So yeah, right. Let's talk about clients then, and how you find your clients.
So the main one that I found, I think we went through it a little bit, but
yeah,
I was on Facebook, as everybody is in the property industry. There's 1,000,001 groups, and I hate the Facebook groups. It's just people spam them, and anybody can post on them. And most people that post on Facebook groups don't actually have clients, don't actually have proper deals, and they're just there for shits and giggles. And a lot of them lie, I found out.
Lie about what?
Boy, a million and one things.
Well, like having deals and
having
returns,
deals,
previous
and
experience.
people will then
record.
post bad experiences with people on there, but then there's always two sides to the story. One random story. I had a builder come over from a plumber come over from Newcastle. Right, I let them stay on one of my properties for free. They were meant to do half a day's work on Wednesday, stay on the Wednesday night, do another full day's worth of work. Right, a plumber coming in to fit a few bathrooms. He didn't have the right plumbing equipment for bathrooms.
What?
And then he went, oh, well, I've just lost £500 day rate. I was like, well, no, you were meant to do half a day yesterday. You didn't do it, so you're not getting paid for that. So I've lost half a day. He'd also let us down on the weekend. It was his birthday, so I let him off. So I was like, right, you can come on the Wednesday and do half a day, because he could only come half a day. And then on the Thursday, finish the job off. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's fine. I had to go to the house at 10:30 in the morning. Saw him there. I was like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I just couldn't sleep last night, so I just woke up late. I think he was on it, but hey, we'll go past that. And then he went to the job, rang us half an hour later. I was like, oh, I can't do this. I don't have the right equipment. You didn't tell me this. I was like, you were meant to be here on Saturday, first of all. And then he's gone and told all the builders that I'm using here. It's like, oh, yeah, he's just fucked us about. I was like, no, I didn't fuck you about. Why would I fuck myself about like that?
Yeah.
So then
you're not doing it to fucking waste his time. It's not a job done.
But yeah, going back to how I got my client, it was on Facebook. They'd commented on a post of a guy's deal. I looked at his post and I was like, that's just wasting everyone's time here. So every single comment on there, like, that deal's shit, look at this deal, and sent them figures. I just replied to the 3 or 4 people that commented on it, and then 15-20 minutes later we're on the call.
Oh, nice. That's cool, isn't it? Yeah.
Rest is history. That specific client brought in over £13 million investment into Carlisle.
That's crazy money, isn't it? Yeah. Just from
Scary
Facebook,
money, isn't it?
13 million. Which shows about social media, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And having good rapport with people, and just like I say, showing the numbers, jumping on a call, being personable, and then
Well, the thing with that is, like, anybody could do what I've just done there, but that wasn't what gained me the business. What gained me the business was me going through the deal methodically, and the fact I went through the deal methodically, went boom, 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 and she asked 20 odd questions. And this was one of the first ever deals I'd been trying to sell and do. She asked 20 odd questions and I had every single answer for her. So it wasn't just the fact that I had a better deal. It was 10 times better, and all my deals are 10 times better. But it was the fact I could methodically go, there's this, and answer every single question. And I think that's why most of my clients like working with me, because I can answer all their questions. And now as well, over the last 2-3 years, with the experience of all the refurbs, I've got tenants to experience all that. I've had Airbnbs for the last nearly 5 years now. So I've now got all my skin and time in the game. I can very confidently tell a client about pretty much everything to do with property. The only thing I don't like advising people on is taxes, because that's personal to everybody. Yeah. And I don't think I'm allowed to because of financial fair play or regulation.
Financial fair play is not football.
But yeah, I think that is one thing about the gaining the clients is you can do the outreach, but if you don't have knowledge to back it up, and this goes on to what I was saying earlier about the dodgy, dumb deal sellers like ruining the reputation for everybody else. Luckily in Carlisle, I've got my patch and I've done it properly, and I can say to I've bought a house off every single estate agent, so I did that tactically, so I can yeah, but we've done it before. Yeah. I can happily say that, whereas loads of other people just go off of a course or off of a watching YouTube and go, oh yeah, let me put it in and then I'll chuck it on Facebook, because that's what they tell you. On most deal sellers will go, oh, finding the deal's hard, finding the money's easy. That's like who, I don't know, I don't come from a wealthy background, so I don't know who the fuck has £250,000 that they can spend on the HMO refurb, but most of the people I come with don't have 2 nickels to bloody rub together. So finding money is hard, so I don't like it when people go, yeah, I'll find the deal, and think, because you're going to rub out, because finding the deal, you need connections for that. Finding the money, you only need to find one person. So you could burn loads of these connections saying I did this at the start. I had fake deals. I'd just go, oh, here, just to have the conversations. Now I've got This year, just from one of the clients, because I've got a portfolio sheet of them, I've done 102 deals that I've showed to them. Out of those 102 deals, we've only sold to that client 16, which is about an 8% hit rate, which is mad. No, it'll be more than 8%. It'll be about 14%. But still, sold only 14% of the deals I've actually looked at. So I've had to put those 100 deals in there, I've had to look at 400 properties. And on average, 1 out of 4 properties that you look at is actually going to be worth doing. But for me, I looked at them online. I don't actually, out of those 100 properties, I'll have viewed probably 150 of them, and then 50 of them are actually as good as what online says. I've got good of minimising my time I spend out the office.
Yeah.
So I analyse everything internally, because I can find pretty much, I've got software that finds me stuff, previous listings, current listings, floor plans, and sizes of houses. And I've got my pricing matrices methodically done for numbers. So I work out stuff per square metre. So I know if a house is 87 square metres, I know pretty much to a degree of about 5% of how much it's going to cost. So then if you add another 10% on, you're like, right, I can't be wrong.
Yeah, to be safe.
I forgot what I was saying.
No, I was just saying how you find clients.
Yeah, so
then you were saying about having the good relationships with them.
yeah, and then I went off on tangent on the deal sources as well. Yeah, but that's what I think is, you find clients. Yeah, you can do your just fatigue and just constant pestering people and try to think. But if you don't have the knowledge to back it up, and now as well, I've got the experience too, which I'm happy to say, it's going to be tough to keep them. Because finding people, I think, is easy. Lead generation is somewhat easy in property, because everybody's property's an ancestral world where everybody knows everybody. But keeping people, everybody wants the next best thing. So it's hard to do that if you don't have the brain.
Yeah, for sure. And say where you are now, and then if I said to you, last year under the podcast, give it where you are now, do you think you'd be happy?
No, fuming.
You reckon?
100%. So I've still got this. 2 years ago, I wrote targets out for July last year, sorry. And by July last year, I'd only met one of those, but I'd exceeded on one of those by a lot. So then the other ones that I hadn't met looked good. But if I then look back now, in July, 2 weeks' time, if I look back and I look at those, I've exceeded on 3 of those, but I had 6 targets. So I've still, 2 years later, not met them. But then the 3 I've exceeded and has gone beyond my expectations. But no, for what I wanted to be and my bidding status that I wanted to be at, it's not where I want to be, and I'm very critical on myself and stuff. So no, I wouldn't be happy. I am happy. I'm happy here in life, and as we spoke about in the last podcast, bringing people into my life that have made me happier. So I am a lot happier in life than I was this time last year. Yeah, for sure. I think I was going through. No, I was probably heading towards a spiral of negativity. Yeah. And I had that spiral of negativity from, I would say, July to December. I'd say a good 6 months of spiraling, because I just had the wrong network around me. I had some really, really good, positive people around me, but I also had some people that brought out the worst emotions out of me, let's say, and were just negative towards my mindset, whereas it just made me think negatively about everything and regress as a person in terms of business and also in terms of attitude to the world. Whereas I think that's really key, is especially what I'm doing, because it's lonely. Property's lonely. Like obviously, I've now got a team.
In general, I think.
Yeah, it's sad being an entrepreneur. It's all the rave, but it's like, you'll know yourself, if you're going away for a trip, it's like, okay, well, it's me and my laptop.
Yeah, I think that's the day I know I'll make it, is when I don't take my laptop on holiday.
Did I take mine? But no.
Fuck, no, you've made it already, mate. I'm jealous.
I said to Holly, and I was like, right, I have to do no work. And I'm proud to say I went away for 4 days. It wasn't a long holiday, but I went away for 4 days, and I did half an hour's worth of work.
That's good.
In that half an hour, I made £62,000.
Oh, well, fucking hell, I'd go away more often then, yeah. That's not bad.
But yeah, it was just that was the headline of it, because I mean that'll be the clip.
Yeah.
But it's 62,000 fans half an hour. But like, I'm still doing that. If I go, I'll show you the paperwork on Monday night. This much paperwork I carried out to do building regs and other surveys and stuff from that's been done in the past in that building that we're buying. Remember I told you earlier that I was going to tell you about it. We're getting a manti.
Oh, really? Fucking hell, that's impressive. That's just reopened to something else, isn't it?
Aura.
Yeah, as a side.
So that's going to stay the same. They've got a really good team running that, so that's going to stay the same. And it's just the upstairs bits. That was what we're going to develop. Nice. So let Jamie and his team run Aura, because they're doing a really good job. And they've got other little side businesses in there, like hairdressers and stuff, and they're doing well. So I'm happy to keep that, because it's a nice thing. It's one of the nicest bars at Carlisle as well. Yeah. You've got that, Holston, and then all those bars around there. They're really good. And then you go to the rougher area of Butchergate. But there's 7 flat space upstairs, and we're going to rebuild that as well. So that should be getting bought in August time. Offer's been accepted. It's in legals now, so that's why I can say it.
Yeah, that's good.
Whereas when I say I did that on holiday, that was last month, where we'd secured the deal whilst I was literally in bed with Holly. The investors just texted us saying, I've got this and this X amount of money. I was like, I've got just the deal for you. I'd seen that 6 months ago. Me and Holly went through it. When was it? March, April? We'd went through it March and April, and I went to that building and spent 3 hours drawing floor plans. Literally hand drew them all. Now I've printed them all off. I'll show you after. Yeah. It looks sick, but yeah, I could say that 30 minutes made me 62 grand. But now and before, I'd also spent at least 40, 50 hours on that deal. Yeah. And imagine if I hadn't sold the deal, I spent 40, 50 hours for nothing. But then it's the risks and benefits, isn't it?
Yeah, it swings and roundabouts, isn't it? Yeah. That's a really exciting thing, isn't it? Yeah, because my mate's girlfriend's stepdad owns that. Yeah.
More small world.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. But no, that'd be a cool project to work on, I think, yeah. Because
I hope so. We're wanting to do it within a year.
Yeah, fucking it.
I know. Yeah.
No messing about.
But it's had planning in the past, and currently Carlisle's going through a nutrient neutrality problem, whereas Natural England won't let you build, or planning won't give you planning approval to build or add any new toilets or toilet systems, because the phosphate levels in the rivers will go too high, and then they don't actually have a way of stopping that or of paying credits towards it yet, and they've not set that up. Luckily, we don't have to abide by that or anything like that, because it's already been in the past, and that's all the paperwork I have is the president in the past and stuff. So I now know that I can sort that out fine. So me getting that piece of thing has made the deal just be so much better. And again, that adds to the value that I bring to the clients, because if I didn't know all that stuff to know, I would have just gone, oh, well, this is a really good deal to be able to do this. But we've already overcome that in other properties. Like, I haven't even spoke about the viaduct. We've got that. That's now going to be over 100 bed development as well. But because I've had that president with that big project already, I already knew that, and I was like, right, okay, well, can I get over it? Whereas most people will have looked at that building. I can't imagine big property developers in this area have not looked at that building, because it's a centrepiece of Carlisle. Like, you go up Carlisle's main road, Warwick Road, the top of it, you got Nando's, and you got that right in front of you. So, and that's what you see from the city centre if you're not coming in from London Road. So that's the kind of knowledge that I like to say I'd bring to people, and it's amazing that I can know that, whereas lots of people in the area probably just looked at that deal and all that shit. That building, we're expecting it to be worth 2.2 million by the time we're finished with it.
Yeah, it's a good refurb, isn't it?
First story I told you about my dad said, the first property I was doing a lease option on, he was like, he went to me, son, do you know what's good for this house? I went, what do you mean, Dad? He went, do you know what this house needs? I was like, what? A fucking bomb. And I was making $4,000 out of that for about 3 years. Funny story about that. The house went into repossession, and legally they couldn't sell me it for some reason, even though I had the right paperwork. That annoyed me, but now I've sold that deal to an investor, and an investor's buying that.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So full circle.
Bit nostalgia, yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm going to run that. I had that as 2 Airbnbs. We're now going to run it as 6 mini Airbnbs. So I'm going to see if I can make more than £4,000 a month out of the
That'd be all
house.
right, wouldn't it? Yeah.
And I'll still not own it. And yeah, I'll kind of want to circle back to the viaduct.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a big one, yeah.
So I had an architect previously on it. He let us down, just pure communication. So we've hired another bigger team, and I must have spent at least 100 to 150 hours in that project. Love it. Previously, we were only going to get 82 or 78 rooms. Now we've got over to 100 rooms. He's done it, the layout how I asked for it to be first done, which I was told I couldn't be done, but now it definitely can be done. He's doing rooms where you get 2 windows instead of 1, which I would prefer that as a student.
It makes a much different window space, for sure.
Especially, you've seen you see Shadden Mill. Yeah. Like, we've got a mill at the back of our building, looks just like that.
Oh,
and sick. That's going to be sick, because you've seen they've done all the expos and stuff like that. I'm like, we're going to leave that. We're going to leave the mill classic and just leave it all exposed. So it's the character that I was mentioning earlier. You have character in the building.
That's
like,
value.
Me as a student, it's like, where would I want to live? Somewhere with just white boring walls, or somewhere with brick exposed walls, cool, contemporary, classic, all in one. I'd much rather do that. I'd also rather have 2 windows than 1.
Yeah, for sure. Light makes a massive difference.
Yeah, especially for your head.
Yeah.
It's actually proven that it makes a big difference for your head. And also, if you sleep in all the time, then there's lights.
Yeah, to wake you up. Yeah,
for students especially. But yeah, that scheme, we're getting over 100 beds. And we're doing a sky bar.
Oh, fucking hell, yeah. That'd be really interesting, wouldn't it?
It's
bring a bit of the nightlife and students.
I'm going to call it On Top.
On Top? Okay.
So it'll be BDR On Top.
You're going to call it BDR?
No, it'll be called On Top.
But BDR's done.
On top by BDR.
Yeah. That's nice. I'll be a good little article in the newspaper on it.
So yeah, that's everything that's going on. The Airbnb business.
Yeah, what else you got on there?
Huge. Airbnb business has made over 500k in bookings, which is meant to say I've done loads of investments into Carlisle. We're still selling mad deals. One thing I wanted to ask you about is, how would you suggest I implement AI into my business?
Ooh, good question. Well, I was saying to you before, wasn't it? I was saying, I think chatbots for sure, to save customer service and human hours with like frequently asked questions and that type of thing. You can set it up 2 ways. You can set it up from whatever information's on your website or the booking landing page, or you can implement like a knowledge base, so you can add in, say, all the frequent asked questions you have on a regular basis, and then it can take it from there as well. Because, like I was saying to you earlier, some people think AI is taking the human aspect out of things, but you want time off in the evenings, at the weekends, or whatever.
Oh, yeah, she does.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if you can implement something that will respond to a customer instantly and give them the answer that they want, which you could probably answer anyway through email or whatever, that's a better service than not answering them in the morning or saying to them, oh, sorry, we're not 100% sure this is BDR, customer service person, whatever. We'll get back to you first thing by 10 a.m. and let you know. But you can give them some kind of information. So that's one thing. And I think another thing is like automation flows. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what you use to collect data, but if you're collecting email addresses and phone numbers, like what are you doing with that when you get them? So yeah, it's great to get the booking, but can you get them to book again? Or I don't know, if they book, I don't know what your system's like, can you get them to upsell, saying, oh, we've also got these available in the area. Could they upsell it? And if they reply, if they don't reply, what they interact with, what the booking, the AI can tailor the emails or the text to that specifically. So if they're interested in Lake District, send them more Lake District things. If they're interested in Carlisle, send them more Carlisle things. So
I think that's actually going to be good for it, because we don't have anything like that yet. One thing I wanted to do with the Airbnbs is connect businesses to us, or what us go out, connect to them, but like give them discounts. For example, a restaurant, you get 5% discount if you say, oh, I'm staying at SDH's Airbnb. Because how I see it for a restaurant, let's say, they spend 50 quid there. Okay, they spend 45 instead of 50, but you've got 45 quid extra.
And a new customer that can tell the friends or post about on Instagram.
And then for me, for example, how I would get repaid there is, even just a thank you would be fine, but they would then go, oh, well, if anybody ever asks about it, I'd be the forefront of mind.
For sure, yeah.
So it's somewhat give and take, because for me, I'm not gaining anything out of that 5%. All I'm doing is putting your advert out on a little leaflet and putting loads of leaflets out saying Italian restaurants here, a Greek restaurant here, Turkish takeaway here, kebab here. Even same with hairdressers and barbers and stuff. Say, oh, you could book an appointment for a thing if you're going to stay. Because I've got a lot of contractors. I've got a year-long booking. Like, they're going to need to cut their hair.
Yeah.
So here, cut your hair every 2 weeks here, and you can get, instead of it being 20 quid, it's 18 quid for you because you've got a 10% discount through being in all my properties. Stuff like that will obviously keep me gaining more customers. But if I could then also track that with what you're saying, I think that would be really useful information as well.
Because the one thing that I'm asking people at the moment is like, what is like a task that you do every day, every week, every month that is mundane, that just takes away like your focus in your business? So like people asking you
Emails.
So
or answering phones. I get the phone call at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Who the fuck rings on a Wednesday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon? How could that?
Yeah. Well, it's like you're saying, emails, you can automate your emails, can't you? So just have an automated AI responder with FAQs that'll hopefully half 50% of that. So any questions, and hopefully if you like say added all the information to your knowledge base, we're doing this deal and this deal, this is where we're at, this is where blah, 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 blah. So if anybody gets back to you, it'll just say, this person's mentioned this deal, they're asking about the timescale, they're a builder, and they'll say, all right, this is the info. And then if they ask back and say,
how much info do you have to pop in for that to be good? Because then to me, that sounds like, fuck me, that's a 2-hour task.
Yeah, but it depends how much info you want to give them, isn't it? And what you want them to respond to. If it's a simple response, it's just, you're never going to be able to respond to 100%. It's just about trying to, these tools say 50, 60, 70%.
Yeah, take some of it away.
Yeah, so if it takes away half of your focus or whatever, that's sound. If there's anything really specific, there's not going to be able to answer that. But if it's generic thing like, oh, what's the time scale? If you've got, I don't know, a Google sheet or a spreadsheet.
Yeah, with the information, I can just implement it.
Yeah, you just link it in and say like, all right,
I like that.
This is my AI tool that I'm using, whatever, like Go High Level or whatever, or Active Campaign or whatever you decide to use. And you just say, right, well, this is the knowledge you want for this here, and link it to the sheet or copy and paste it or whatever. And that'll know. But if it's saying like, all right, yeah, what about these carpets we want? What measurements do we need? It probably won't know that. So it's like, oh, sorry, Ricardo's out at the moment, but I'll get back to you if any more info, let us know. You can ring him on this number, or that kind of thing. It's just about...
Ring on 999.
It's not about doing everything. It's just...
doing some of it.
Yeah. Because I don't know about you, but there's a lot of tasks that you do. And it's just like, for me, it's onboarding clients. It's simple, but it would have taken me a lot of time. You should do the contracts, you do the invoices, you create the Google Drive, you create the spreadsheet. You add
does it do all that?
Yeah.
It does all the contracts and invoices?
Yeah. So the first action I would have to do is write a contract.
Right.
I would have to do the contract,
so
and then that will do the flow.
Contract though.
Yeah, but you'd still have to add in the detail. I'd have to look at your contracts. But say for me, I have to add in the details of like the client, the business name, the email, and that kind of thing. As soon as I've done that and I send it, it goes into a flow. As soon as I've signed it, it'll send the invoice. As soon as I've sent the invoice, it'll create the Google Drive. As soon as it's in the Google Drive, it'll create the spreadsheet.
That's good.
As soon as that, it'll send it on board.
Yeah.
That integrates, yeah. So if you use API, it'll create the flow. So whatever your flow is.
Well, that's what all the lads do that.
Yeah. So like whatever your flow is, you can just do that. There's loads of things.
Because my sister was saying about the contracts, because obviously we've got loads of tenants and so many contracts, and some of them ask for some certain things, so obviously you'd have to change that.
Yeah.
But I wish there was a way she could just, right, let's say I've got a form that they fill out with all the information, and then I've already got a template contract. There should be something that marries them together.
Yeah,
but there is, but she spent like 2 full days looking for it, couldn't find it. I was like, just leave it, just because, to be fair, we wasted like, let's say 16 hours looking for it. She didn't find it. I could have probably done 30 contracts in 16 hours.
That's the thing. These things do take a bit of time to set up.
But then it saves time
in the back. Yeah.
And it's an investment to gain your time back, which time is money, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, that's why I think people would use us to do it, is because you can't be asked. 16 hours to do it, you know what I mean?
The thing for your services is, I'm not going to say you're like a joiner, but you're like a joiner. Like anybody, a joiner or a roofer or a trade, anybody can do the basic stuff, but like your service is high level. So it's like, do you want it done properly, or do you just want it done? Because if you just want it done, well, go do it yourself. Go spend your time.
You can do it. Like, that's what I mean. Anything, even the videos, everyone knows how to create a video. You come up with the idea, you film it, you edit it, you add a caption, and you post it. But can you do it to a high level? Can you do it consistently? And can you make sure it works as well? Same with you. Anybody can do what you're doing, but can they do it to a high
anybody can
level?
go on Rightmove and find a property. But that's what I said with the example of the thing. We bought 2 houses in the same street for 190, or people would just buy the house and be done with it. Yeah. Whereas that house, they could see, well, I could add the value to that. Well, how can you add the value to the same house, but a bit smaller, but looks nice? Well, I still have to rip it out and turn it into X amount of rooms.
Exactly. So it's just your personal added value, isn't it, of what you can do. So, right, let's round it up, and I'm going to ask you a question. This is the first time I've asked this question, because I always used to ask people, have you got any mistakes or regrets? But everyone always says they don't have any mistakes or regrets because they're all lessons, which is fair enough. But if you could go back to your younger self, maybe if you were, I don't know, a kid, 16, 18, maybe if you're just starting out, what advice would you give yourself?
Give me an age and I'll tell you.
I reckon 18.
18.
Not that long ago for you, is it?
Yeah, it was 8 years. Just a baby. What would I tell my 18-year-old self?
Because what were you doing at 18? Not played for that?
I was, well, just before I turned 18, I was actually working in Newcastle selling gas and electricity, and I was about to move to Newcastle. Yeah. I was 3 weeks away from turning 18, and that's when I was legally going to be allowed to do that job. Because I'd been doing it for a week, and this found out. Well, no, sorry, they knew I was 17, but they said, oh, you're just a trainee for now. Yeah. But they paid me an actual wage, which was nice of them. And I was going to move to Newcastle and do that full time. But then I ended up not doing that. So that's when I was 18. What would I have been doing after that? I'd have probably gone into restaurants, maybe. Oh, no, old fire station.
Okay.
I went to the old fire station. That was awful. I hated him. He's now a mortgage broker. And every time I see his adverts come up, I just laugh. I was like, how have you gone from owning a restaurant to just doing that? Yeah. Each their own. As long as he's happy. His wife was nice.
Yeah, that's nice. So yeah, what advice would you give yourself? You go back to 18.
18.
Yeah.
In hindsight.
Yeah,
in hindsight, just try what I'm doing earlier, or go back to football.
You reckon?
Yeah. Actually, yeah, in hindsight, I just said I'd have gave it a go. I'd have gone back to playing football full time.
100% give it like a go. And
yeah, because I had no outgoings. I was living with my mum and dad's. All I needed was 40 quid a month for my phone. Yeah. So go back to football, because I was only out the game for 2 years then, and I could have made it.
Yeah, because I remember you telling me the story last time about the trial and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I should have done it. That's what I'd have done. I'd have gone back to football, because I know, like, when I was 15, I'd done stocks and shares, and I'd made from 10p, I'd made £4,000, and then lost 2,000, then cashed out 2,000, then I made back up to £300 in the space of all in a 2 months whilst I was doing my GCSEs. So I could always do that. So I always knew, like, worst case scenario, I'll get rich through that. Yeah. And then I wanted to be a footballer, so I was like, that's why I'm saying I'll go back to that, because now in hindsight, I know I can do property too, so I don't need to tell myself to go do property anywhere. So that's the only shot I didn't take.
Yeah, very, very punny. That's interesting though, isn't it? Yeah.
I didn't even think.
Oh, I thought you said on purpose, right? I gave you too much credit there. But yeah, the thing is...
What would you do?
You're flipping the question on me. I think I would probably just... I don't know. I didn't even think I was going to have to answer this question. I put you on the spot as well. I think for me, it'd probably be... Because when I was 18, so at 18 I wanted to be a personal trainer, or I wanted to be events manager. If I went to uni, did events and hospitality. I think it's probably just being a bit of advice. I think it's just do what you want to do. Like, because there's so many different people.
It's kind of what I meant.
Yeah. It's true though, because there's so many people when you're like growing up, isn't there? When you're 18, you've got the teachers telling you, right, you need to go to uni, which I think for me was probably the best choice for me at the time. And you got like your parents, well, parents like saying, oh, yeah, you go to uni, do this, do that, that kind of thing. But I think that I've always done what I wanted to do, but just don't listen to other people. Just listen to yourself. Because other people...
They don't know your head.
No. Because I think it's important to take on advice when you feel it's relevant, but everyone's got such varying opinions on it. Like your parents just... I don't know about yours, but like my parents just want me to have like a safe, comfortable life.
Yeah.
They were always like, oh, when we're starting out, oh, I don't know if you should like go into business because it's like a risk, or you should go here or go there. And like teachers to say, oh, well, you'll never do well doing this or whatever, because I wasn't very good at focusing. Like I always knew that whatever I do,
you do it well if you wanted to do it well.
Yeah.
It's your choice if you want to do it well or not, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Because I'd say started off doing events, my own thing, then I'd do the marketing, started off doing like the social media and the videos, and now doing the AI. And also just like, you can do whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do, you can do. Just work hard at it and put your head down.
Yeah, and I would say that for every person as well, because if as a human, if you actually just apply yourself, everybody does something. And I always say to my team, like, if you've seen somebody else do it, we can do it. That's what I always said about HMOs. I've seen other people do it. Like Tom Heaney, he was the guy that was at the event in Carlisle.
Yeah.
I saw him do high-end HMOs. That's where I got my idea to do Alcoby Street from.
Oh, cool.
Like, I was like, oh, somebody's doing it in Carlisle. It can be done. I'll do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Same as the essays. Oh, I've seen some people on Airbnb in Carlisle. Oh, how the hell's anyone doing that? Let's risk it. Let's do it. And then, because that my initial deal, I was just going to tenant it and make £700 a month, which would have been all right for me, an extra £700 a month. But then I was like, let's take the risk in Airbnb it and made £4,000 a month instead.
It's fucking sad, isn't it? Yeah. That's the thing as well, that a lot of people tell you they can't, just think that they can't do it themselves, or like maybe like a little bit jealous because you're trying to do it. Mm-hmm. And you do have people who support you along the way, but yeah, you just got to believe in yourself and just fucking go.
Well, that's one thing I'd say in the last year that I found is people I had around me were bringing my self-belief down to a point where they said they were doubting me and they were doubting my knowledge and my experience and me knowing this and that. And I'm like, that came to a halt in January. I was like, no, fuck that, fuck this, my business, taking it back, bringing the reins back. And after I let people go and stuff and just cleared my head from the negativity, which what I'll brand it was the negativity. Well, from let's say October to March, the Airbnb business was fucked. Like instead of like I'll say I'll make $15,000 every week. Now we didn't even make $15,000 in 3 months. Like that's how bad it was. So then I was having to pay the guaranteed rent of my investors people who bought houses. I have to give them things. So we were over a span of time, over that 9-month period where there was negativity around me, probably lost £250,000, which for a business that's less than 5 years old is crazy to say. How the hell have you lost that much in that amount of time? And still at the end of this financial year, I'll probably still be at like not a loss. Yeah. Which I'm so proud to say, despite it being such a negative thing, I'm so happy to say I've managed to get it out of that. And in the last 3 months, we've probably sold about 20 odd deals. Whereas in that 6-month period, I probably only sold about 10 because I was told to rein back and just control what I had, which for me and how I work and what I told you I wanted to do with my business is just the complete wrong mindset. So I brought the wrong person and people in and let them try and help my business how they would run theirs, which is wrong. It's my business. It's how I work. They either worked with it or fucked off. So they had to go in the end.
Yeah, because that's what I mean. You want people to align and see your vision.
Yeah, and that's one thing I'd say is it is my vision. So it's something I had to do for me, and to get to where I want to be, it has to be that. And I can't, like, I respect taking people's thoughts, opinions and stuff on board. But if it doesn't align with how I think, and this was one sticking point, is sometimes I go back on the way I think, but as we said before the podcast, you sometimes have to go back to go forward.
100%.
If somebody says something and it doesn't work there and then, but it works 3 months down the line, it's not me nicking. Well, and I had this stuff like, oh, you've nicked my ideas. Like, I'm not nicking your idea. It just didn't work there and then because of X, Y, and Z factors. But if I tell you no, then it's not because it might be a bad idea or this. It's just because it's not correct for the time. But if it is correct for that time, it's not. It's not like you were right all along. It's like you were actually wrong specifically there and then, but the idea wasn't wrong.
Yeah, it sounds like too many egos involved. Like say nicking my idea, whereas it should be
yeah,
a collective, isn't it? Like it's a team, isn't it? It's a team effort. And
yeah.
you all win and lose together. Kind of, but obviously it's your
felt very individualized, and especially when the people left as well. Yeah, there's just a bit of a sour taste in the mouth.
Yeah, for sure. But onwards and upwards.
Yeah. Well, as you said, the last 3 months, obviously we had to get that cleared, and I've had to answer a lot of negative questions from the investors, which obviously if I was on their perspective, I'd be like, well, because of what's happened, I would have lost faith potentially. But I've took on a lot of financial burdens from what's happened negatively in last year, and I've not implemented it into the investors, but I have explained to them, this is what's going on, this is negative where we're at, this is how we're getting out of it, and by the end of next month, we're out of a negative financial situation that we're at because of all the things. And now with the Airbnbs and making a lot more money and the tenants as well helping a little bit, we're going to be in a place where by January, we can purchase and do 1 development each month. So we'll be buying 12 developments, like 200k each month by the end of next year. So I'm just building a big pot of cash. So I know I can buy one every month, sorry. So I'm hoping that next year is going to be the year where instead of just working for everyone else, I'm working with people. What I want to be bringing in is investments into the business or into like an SPV, like a special purpose vehicle business for buying houses. So I'll do a JV with people, and then 1 month I'll buy a house through the business's profits. Because I don't like the tax man. So that's the direction for next year. Expand into the Lake District from the rent-to-rent side of it, buy my own properties, and obviously the other areas as well.
Yeah, exciting times.
Scary.
Yeah, for sure. So where can people find you, follow you, get in touch if they wanted to invest? Or
BDR Properties on Instagram. We're on TikTok now, aren't we?
Yeah.
TikTok. I want to do YouTube.
100% long form or short form, or both?
Both. Well, everything I post on TikTok will be kind of YouTube.
Like that's the one thing that I've committed to since last week. I'm going to be posting 2 YouTube videos every single week, long form.
It's not hard.
Nah, you just find a system and just make it work.
Okay.
So,
Babe, we have to do that.
Yeah, because I feel like short form's great, and that's what I do for business, and that's what we do for every business we work with. But if you can send that traffic, that attention to long form, and then they get to know you as a person, and then when you watch a YouTube video, you sit down and watch, you're ready to watch, isn't it? But when you're watching short form, it's a quick dopamine hit, and then you go to the website, and then you'll buy a watch or you buy a product. But yeah, if you're wanting people to invest serious cash, they want to get to know you, and then they'll get to know you without you even having to do anything. So yeah, for me, it's like 1 lifestyle vlog a week with an integration of the AI in the middle. So it's like what I'm up to, but then what I'm doing with AI. And then the other one is just strictly value based. So it'd be either me talking about something to do with AI or me giving like a 10-minute training on how to use it and that kind of thing. So you could do something similar.
So like a week in a life, and then maybe like a walk through a property.
Walk through of like a breakdown of a price in property, or like a property that you've got on, something like that. Because say for me, a lifestyle blog's difficult, but I can do it in 20 minutes. I can just be like, right, these are the 5 scenes I want. Right, I'm going to do this clip at this clip at the gym, this clip.
Do you not have a million bloopers?
No.
Fuck off, man. If you look at that phone, right? I've got a 1 terabyte phone. It's nearly full. I've only had that phone for what, 15 months?
No, you just make it a system and a process. So 10-minute video, 5 2-minute clips, breakfast, what you're doing mid-morning, then something to do with the business, and then like afternoon what you're doing, and then evening close up. So that's 10 minutes out of your day, but it'd probably take about 20 minutes. And then another one, you just sit down, you got your whiteboard, write the deal out. That'll probably take, I don't know, 15 minutes. and then you can do 4 of them in half a day. Well, 4 of them in a day, and then that's content for like 2 weeks or something. So
That's crazy.
you just don't overthink it. It's just a process, it's a system. You know what I mean? So yeah, 100% do that.
We want to do loads of things around the viaduct as well, because that's obviously that's 100 rooms and a rooftop bar.
So I mean, go down to the viaduct and say I'm going to film 4 YouTube videos today, and say the first one is about how
Like
they
a
do.
series maybe,
Yeah, but you can do it in the same day and then spread it out over 2-3 months.
different tops.
Yeah, that's a trick. Honestly, when we go with clients, we say bring 5-6 tops. We'll film 30 videos in 4 hours.
Yeah.
And spread that over 2 months, 3 videos a week, and they just change tops every 6 videos. But yeah, if you do that, just go down. This is how we bought it or like sourced it. This is what it's like when it's closed. These are the plans and the issues that we've had, and this is what's going to happen when it's finished. And then you bash that out in, I don't know, an hour or 2.
Stuff like that harder to edit YouTube videos than it is clips.
Don't edit it. Just put the clips together. That's what I do to make it easy. Because if editing's a fucking ball ache,
Isn't it?
editing's long.
My friend's a professional video editor for like YouTubers and stuff, and he says it can take 12 hours for a video
But like,
because of their streamers.
Yeah.
That's even worse.
that's what I mean. That's not what you're posting it for. You're posting it for the value, value in the video. You're not posting it for the cool edits. So like, say for me, I just post them. I'm just posting them, the value of the AI thing and a bit about me. I don't care about the edits. It's just the consistency of showing up as well. If you're posting just once a week, you're posting 1 long form a week and you're showing up every single week.
And then I have to turn it instead of that way.
Yeah, landscape. Yeah. That's what I fucked up the other day. I did some clips. I did it in portrait instead. But yeah, just commit, like it's a non-negotiable, like I was on the podcast.
Yeah.
To them posting 1 podcast a week, no matter what. And then, to be fair to you, said I could come and film this today, but it just has to be like top priority. Otherwise, just won't do it. But yeah,
So I might have 2 more guests for you.
Right, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for being such a great guest.
Thank you.
If you're watching on Spotify, make sure to like the video, subscribe, comment your favourite part. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple, make sure to follow the podcast and leave a 5-star review. We'll see you next time. Bye.
You said that before.